Welcome to today's episode of Between Neens and Deens. My name is Nina, and I'm joined by my best friend, partner, and baby daddy, Dayon.
And together, we're a couple of 20-something-year-olds just trying to navigate this whole first-time parenting thing.
So we're laying it all out there and talking about all the things you wish your parents told you about love, sex, and happiness. So this week we're going to talk all about manifesting and our goals. A lot of you guys have been wondering, I guess, what some of our long-term goals are, and I realized that we've never really talked about it. I think we talk about it a little bit more now because we've been manifesting a lot and kind of tuning into like what we want, not just in the here and now, but like thinking forward. And I think, I did do this before, but I feel like now having a baby, like we do it a lot now. We're like, okay, where do we want, like when do we want to retire? You know, what do we want our life to be like? Where do we want him to grow up? Like all of these things. So that's gonna be this episode. And we actually had our 3-year anniversary last Thursday. So it's just like a big time for reflection and a lot of thinking.
Definitely.
So we've actually been manifesting a lot lately, and for those of you guys that don't know what it is, it's essentially kind of like tuning in to what it is that you want, asking the universe for what it is that you want. And it's not just like sitting there asking, not really doing anything and just kind of hoping that it comes to you. It's like words into action and like a lot of visualization, and it's kind of like the universe responding to you by giving you what you want, essentially. So I guess I've been manifesting or attempting to manifest for a couple of years now, and it honestly works. Like, you could chalk it up to like good luck or hard work or whatever you want, but I feel like once I started actually verbalizing what it is that I want and actually saying, I don't know, like not being afraid of wanting success, you know, or not being afraid of wanting to be happy, like things like that, like actually asking for it, I feel like that makes a huge difference. Because it's kind of like that same feeling where sometimes you don't want to speak something because it makes it true. And it's like sometimes like you feel that way about scary things. But it can also be true about like really good things. So I think like, you know, say that you want to buy a house. Then like speak it into the world. Talk to other people about it. Like focus a lot of energy in like visualizing it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how much like we've manifested a lot in our lives, and it's crazy to think that looking back at like all the times that we've manifested something and how it actually did happen, you know, like how it came to be. So yeah, it's really interesting. Like it even comes back to like how we started our relationship and like, you know, looking for the right person and just manifesting that person and then that person showing up. Do you know what I mean? And like, and then going further in life, and even where we're about to head into now, which is pretty crazy because just a few like weeks ago, we were sitting around just thinking about how we need a bigger space because we want to start, you know, expanding and have like an office, but then also have it all in our home so that we can have Blue with us and everything, like and just keep growing. Like he can have his own
playroom, and like it's crazy we've already outgrown a 2-bedroom, which like for 3 people sounds reasonable, but I think it's just because we also both work from home that it's getting to a point now where it's just there's just not enough space to like work effectively and have like give Blue the space that he's gonna need.
Mm-hmm. And it was just crazy because, like, we really love this neighborhood that we're in, and we know that we didn't want to leave it. But we realized that, like, it is harder to find something with more space in this neighborhood.
Especially downtown, yeah.
So, you know, we put it out into the universe. We were like, this is what we really want. And
we wanted a 3-bedroom. That's what we were looking for. 3-bedroom apartment, downtown. That's all we're asking for.
Yeah. So do you want to tell the audience as to what is the next big move or what we kind of manifested?
Yeah, so we signed a lease on an apartment. Super, super exciting. There's a couple reasons, I guess, why it feels right. Like, obviously, we did want more space. This was more than we bargained for. It's actually like a 4-bedroom, which is insane, but we're gonna have so much space for Blue, for ourselves, and for
all our future manifestations, and
it's like all of the things goals that we want to do. Like, you know, we're trying to also like launch like a clothing line and a home goods line. Like all of that stuff is gonna take up. It's already starting to take up so much space. So we needed more space, but when we first saw the place, I saw it like on Zumper. It's just like I guess like not real estate because you're not buying, but it's like for renting. So it's just like another website that has a bunch of rentals. And Yeah, I saw it on Zumper and it said that it was a 4 bedroom, but for some reason I didn't see the square footage. I think because I was like on my phone and it just didn't show up. And when we ended up going, it was just like so ginormous that we were just so taken aback by it. Like, we honestly didn't even really look at all the things we should have because I think we were just so in awe of, like, this is an apartment downtown that's this big. Like, and to be fair, it has like a very high price tag as well, so it's not like it's a major steal, but
it does have less than it normally would, though.
yeah, it's like, I guess it's like a COVID deal, you know? Like, it's like a lot of people are moving out of the city right now, and it is a very weird time to try to move and like get more space. But I mean, if we can make it work, which we're gonna try to make it work, then like now is kind of the time because the prices are lower than normal. But yeah, the first time that we saw it, we were like, okay, like, I don't think that it's right for us. Like, realistically, we should be trying to save for a place to buy, like a forever home. And we've talked about this a lot. We've talked about real estate and I guess like kind of our history with it. Like, my parents own their home in San Francisco. Dan, your parents own like an apartment in Miami.
And back home as well.
In Serbia and in Montenegro. And so, like, but here in Vancouver, we don't own anything. Like, neither of our families do. And so we've always kind of wanted a property here. And obviously in Vancouver, the prices are very, very, very high. Like, you can't find a house for less than $1 million. Now you kind of can because COVID deals. But I mean, they're all like really up there. Like, they're close to $1 million. If it's under $1 million, then it's like definitely a fixer-upper or quite small in terms of square footage. And it's like not close to downtown. But it's possible now. But anyway, so it's very expensive, and we either wanted to buy like a home, more likely an apartment, but that's the thing, is that we were like, I don't think it's possible to find something that big in downtown. And so just seeing this place, like, this place is obviously for rent, it felt right, but it was also like, I don't know, like, we were so on track for like trying to save. It kind of
takes us away from that opportunity of being able to own.
But like, that's the thing, is that, so the way that I like kind of rationalized it or figured it, like, it depends on what it is you want to achieve when you're trying to buy something. And I learned kind of all of this from my financial advisor. Like, before this, because of my parents' experience buying a home, it's kind of, you save up all your money, you buy a home, you live in it, that's where you're going to retire, you pass it on to your kids or you sell it, whatever. But it's like a home that you live in. But our financial advisor was actually telling us that, you know, renting honestly isn't a bad thing, which feels weird because, like, the idea of renting is that you're paying a lot of money.
Like you're just throwing your money out because it's never going to be yours.
Yeah, it's never going to be yours. But the thing is, I mean, it depends on what it is you can afford in terms of buying a place. So if we were to buy a 4-bedroom downtown, you're looking at least like, I would say $3 million for like the type of square footage that we would be renting right now. So $3 million is crazy expensive. Like, I like nowhere like in the next I mean, it would be amazing if in the next 5 years we could afford something like that. I'm not gonna like limit myself to say that couldn't happen, but like that's a lot of money, and that's not something that we definitely would be able to afford, I think, anytime soon. So the thing is, like, if you can't afford that, then like you could still rent a place that's like that and then save up money to buy, say, like a 1 or 2 bedroom and then rent that out. Obviously, this is kind of assuming that, you know, COVID and the pandemic kind of settles down in like the next couple of years, and kind of everything goes back to normal, whatever that looks like. But
she used air quotes.
Air quotes, back to normal. But yeah, buying like a 1 or 2 bedroom and then renting that out. You could do Airbnb, but I think for us, we'd probably prefer to rent it out just because it's a little bit less maintenance. And then hopefully you're cash positive. So cash positive basically means, I mean, in its simplest terms, imagine that your mortgage is $1,000, and so then you rent it out for $1,200.
So that's $200 going
so that's
into your account or your pocket every month. So.
Yeah, so you're cash positive. You're making a little bit of money, and you're paying off your mortgage by somebody staying there, which is amazing. So like that is kind of the plan for us, and yeah, so I think that we would, at this point, I think what's the most feasible, like when we're kind of predicting that the market will be down, so housing prices will be lower than they are now, hopefully in the next like 2 to 3 years. Hopefully then we can buy whatever we can afford, whether that's a 1 bedroom, even a studio, like a 1 bedroom or a 2 bedroom, and then rent that out and we can live in like the space that we want to live in, which is like this 4-bedroom, have that be our home until, you know, like Blue grows up, he moves away, we retire, or at whatever point we decide to downsize. Because realistically, we don't need a 4-bedroom.
I don't see us needing to go bigger.
Yeah, we definitely don't need to go bigger, but it's like if we get to a point where, you know, we no longer need a home office because maybe we expand into a real office, you know, like for us to actually live in, we don't need that much space.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like the plan is to live where we want to live now, rent, and then in the future, like whatever property is that we do own, then we would be retiring there. And like all we would really need is like a 1 or 2 bedroom. But then ideally, if I can manifest like big money moves, is to like either buy multiple properties. So we're doing that in a lot of different places, or, you know, selling a 1-bedroom and then buying a 2-bedroom, and then selling that 2-bedroom, buying a 3-bedroom, you know, like working your way
and
up.
Just keep leveraging your mortgage for another.
But you want to get into the market. Like that's the thing. You want to build equity. And yeah, like it's crazy because like all these things I definitely wasn't thinking about like a year or 2 years ago. But just like, you know,
kids make you do that.
Yeah, kids make you do that, but it's also like when you start to earn money, like you do, like for anybody out there, like when you do start to earn money, really start to think about how do you make that money work for you, you know, like, and the thing is also,
it's also important to know that even if you don't make that much money, you should definitely
100%
constantly try and set some aside and to save and you know, invest in different places so that it can grow.
Yeah, that's the thing is that, I mean, another reason why I was very hesitant about wanting to expand, and like the reason why it's really scary, is because I understand the idea of living below your means, or like not living above your means. So like just because we can afford to like make it work in this bigger place, like just because your income grows doesn't mean you should be expanding. And I think that that's why I said like if we didn't need this space for work, like we really don't need that much space, you know, like, and if you're trying to save money, then you need to stop trying to like constantly level up your life. So I think that's why I was really on the fence, because I was like, that's something that I truly believe, and like, is it really necessary for us to move? But I mean, at the end of the day, like it gives us a lot more workspace, which is I think pretty essential, because right now everything's on top of each other.
And then there's also your taxes.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like for anybody out there, if you do own your own company, then you kind of, or like have a business that's incorporated, then you kind of understand that it's a weird concept, but you have to spend money or to save money. It's so weird. Yeah. Because like, I mean, you need to balance out your expenses and also the amount that you're making. So if like what I was doing the first year of being in business was I was basically just trying to hoard everything, save everything, because that's the principle, you know, like once you make money, you want to save as much of it as possible. So I was trying not to spend it, but then you just end up paying a lot in taxes because you don't have the expenses to cushion that. So
you might really as well have the benefit of enjoying that. Yeah.
So like, you know, if you do like want to have a home office and you need more space, like you should be able to write that off, and you should be able to work in a bigger space. But obviously, like, I mean, that's the thing, is that everybody has different money priorities, and I think figuring out what works best for you. Because, yeah, for us, like, working at home is great. And obviously having Blue, like, we don't want to have to leave the house. But if that's, like, renting out, like, a co-working space or something like that. But, like, make investments in you. Because I was going to say this earlier, that making your money work for you, like, it takes money to make money. And, like, people that become millionaires and bajillionaires, whatever, like, it's not just because they sell a product and they sold a lot of a product. Once you start making money, you need to put it in places for it to grow. So, like, it's not really going to grow that much if you just have it in a standard savings account. Like, that's great. That's better than having it just all in checkings. But you should look into investing it. You should, I mean, if you understand the stock market, amazing. You know, like, I'm trying to learn about that now, trying to get in on it. But if you can invest in stocks or bonds, like, whatever it is that you're comfortable with in terms of risk, like, look into investing or like putting your money somewhere where it can grow.
Or just get a financial advisor to have them do that for you.
Well, a financial advisor that you can trust. And I mean, that you're just gonna have to go with your gut. Make sure you like interview a lot of people, like somebody that's like actually explaining things to you. I think that's the most important thing to me. Like, my financial advisor's name's Alan. I've talked about him a lot, actually. But he basically explains everything to me. Like, he makes sure that I understand it. If he doesn't, he'll go back and explain it again. Like, I feel very comfortable asking like questions. I feel very comfortable saying I don't get it. Like, repeat that again. And that's somebody that you can trust because they want you to understand how your money is working. Somebody that's kind of like, oh, like, don't worry about it, it's very hush hush. Like, I wouldn't trust that person because you don't know what they're doing with your money, and you should know at all times. And another form of investing, I would say, is investing in yourself. And I actually read an article very recently where this was like kind of the most profound to me. And it was an article that was actually like about somebody that stopped using robo-advisors, which is kind of like I think it's like Betterment or like Wealthfront. There are all these like apps where you can invest, and I do have some money in like some of those as well, which is just kind of like passively investing for me. But this article is about why this person stopped using them, and I was just wondering why. And it's actually because he started investing in himself and in his companies. And you can think about it as an investment, I guess, but like, say you saved up $10,000, and instead of putting that somewhere where it's going to grow little by little by little until eventually it grows a lot more, then you could be investing that into yourself to start a business. And that business could grow exponentially.
Exactly.
You know? And so I think like being able to take a chance on you, taking risks, like if you're comfortable with it, or if you've always had like a dream to do something, whether or not it's going to be lucrative, you know, like, I mean, we're talking about money a lot, but money is freedom at the end of the day. So, you know, if you save $10,000 and you want to just use that to allow yourself some freedom in your life,
open
like
a restaurant,
yeah, like it's whatever you want to do. That's like whatever money's going to give to you, whether, I mean, it's not happiness, but freedom. I would say that it's freedom. So that's like another way of thinking about investment. And also think about, if you wouldn't invest in you, then why would you expect other people to? So I think that was like,
believe in yourself first.
Yeah, you have to believe in yourself. And that was kind of the principle that allowed us to start Saturday mornings, which is the cereal pop-up that we did like a couple years ago. We put a pause in it because it was so physically exhausting. But
it took over our living spaces as well. And at that time we were in a 1-bedroom.
Yeah.
But
it was
even
really
now,
cramped.
and then now we have a baby, so yeah, we might revisit it, but just for now it's on pause.
Yeah, but basically, like, the idea behind that was, like, I mean, it would have been amazing if it was lucrative, but I think, like, for us, it was more the experience of doing it, and it was always Dan's dream to do a cereal pop-up and, like, serve cereal mixes and have cartoons and video games and, like, all of those things, and, like, you really want to curate that experience. So for you, like, that money was, like, it wasn't necessarily using it as an investment, but it was you living out your dream, you know, which I think would be priceless, you know, because you don't have any regrets about, oh, I wish I'd done it.
Yeah, no, it was a great experience, and like, yeah, it definitely brought a lot of happiness to me and to like
all
the people that came to
yeah.
it. Yeah, so it was an amazing feeling. We didn't really like book the numbers down, so I don't necessarily know.
We definitely didn't break even. We put 3,000 into it.
Yeah.
In the beginning,
so again,
and obviously
like,
we spent
like
more
like
as we went along.
Yeah,
but,
it's not like an extremely large investment in that sense.
It's a lot of money.
It is, but like those are for things.
It could have been worse.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, there's things that like we can sell from what we like invested in as well. So like, there's ways to make that money back. But yeah, I have no regrets.
Yeah, at least now you know you did it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was a good time. It was a good vibe, and it can always be revisited and worked on, and the brand has been built regardless, which is great. So it's a thing that existed and still exists. So
yeah. So yeah, that was my little spiel on investing. It is important. And also, like, the most basic rule of investing is that time is money. Like, you need to invest. Like, if you aren't investing right now as you're listening to this, it doesn't matter how old you are, now is the best time. The youngest that you are,
the younger you are, the better.
The younger you are, the better. Like, I wish I started investing in, like, I want to say 2 years ago. So I think I was like 21 or 22. And I wish that I was investing like as soon as possible. Like, as soon as I was making money. So like 16, like all of that money should have went like into like a TFSA, or like, I guess, I don't remember what the American equivalent is, but just like putting money aside and actually allowing it to grow. Because I would put money aside, but then I'm like, oh, okay, like I want to buy a camera. Like, and it's important to save up for things like that. But like, you should also, like, I feel like there are different tiers of saving in my mind, you know, like there's like money that I save for, you know, I want to buy a house, and that money is like trying to grow, but like I'm going to take it out at some point. And then there's money where I'm like, no, like this is for when I'm like old, I'm trying to retire, not even when I'm old. I'm trying to retire when I'm like 40. So like I want to pull that money out later, and you want to keep that in there to grow. Like that's money that you do not touch. So the money that you put in there should be like whatever you're most comfortable with not seeing. Like you shouldn't put it in that account and then be like, "Ooh, okay, but like I need to kind of pay for rent, or like I want to buy like this next month." Like no, that's money that once it's put in that account, it's gone. It's not yours anymore. Like
You just gotta act
just
like
shut it off
exist.
in your mind. Yeah, because like
Which is what I wish I did too.
yeah, but it's like a habit, you know? Like now I'm very good about like the money that I do put away for good. I'm like, that's not even my money. You know, like I'm not touching it. Like I don't, like when I think about how much money do I have, like do I have enough to, you know, like move out into this new apartment? I didn't even consider like I have
money.
Yeah, like that I have money in savings, because I'm not trying to rely on that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think that that's important, because you don't want to keep dipping into it. You want it to grow. And like it's just the way that like you can look at graphs, like if you just Google how like investing works, like compounding interest, like the earlier that you put in money, even if it's like, it's better if you put in, say, I mean, for simple numbers sake, like if you put in $10 a month when you're 18, that's way better than putting in $50 a month once you're 25, because you just feel like you made enough money then. It's way better to start earlier, even if it's less. So like if you're not investing, do it now. Yeah.
100%. Crazy. Yeah, I should have jumped on that as soon as I had my first job, man.
Yeah.
But that was my relationship with money was always, the moment I got it, I would spend it. You know what I mean?
And I mean, we had very different financial literacy upbringings, I guess. Like for me, like I grew up quite poor, and so money was a very big stressor in my family, and it would stress my mom out a lot, and she would talk about money a lot. So like I knew how important it was to save, and like even though I didn't understand when we were younger, like she wouldn't buy us toys, like she wouldn't buy us things that she didn't think we needed, and it would be upsetting in the moment. But then when I got older and I was like in high school going to college, and my parents were actually able to pay for my college, then I actually understood, like, thank God you didn't buy me all those dumb toys that I didn't need, because like I'm so much more grateful for this now. Like to be able to go to college debt free is because my mom was so exceptionally good at saving, and she like knew what it is that she wanted to save for, and she actually did it, you know? And so like I'm so thankful for that. But yeah, my mom always taught me that you need to always put a little bit away. And when I started making money, obviously when you start making money, you're like, oh my God, I have all this money, so you just go out and spend it. But after like a couple years of being like, okay, like now I know what it feels like to spend my money, I like it more in my bank account. So now I'm actually like pretty good at it. But if you'd ask my parents, like when I was in high school or college, like I was like the biggest spender in our family. Like I was like you.
That was me, yeah.
Yeah, I was like you.
Because yeah, even my parents, like the same, they wouldn't really like want to spend. My mom would always want to invest, but my dad was always a little bit too like
risk adverse.
Yeah, like he thought it was just way too risky to do it, and like investing in the Vancouver market at the time when we first moved here would have been
lucrative,
a really great choice. But
it's crazy. You look at like the real estate chart in Vancouver, and I looked at it, and after 2010 it fucking skyrockets because of the Olympics. So yeah, if you guys had bought before then,
my parents came in 93, and like they didn't necessarily have a lot of money, but they had great jobs. But yeah, it was just about my dad thinking, at that time, like, Vancouver was still expensive compared to other cities, and I guess they just never thought that was going to be, like, their permanent home.
Yeah. But
obviously, once the kids grow up there, it is their home, right? It's mine and my brother's home, and now, essentially, it's everyone's home. We're not leaving, but it just kind of, it's like, it's unfortunate that they don't own, we're just renting, but, yeah, so I think my mom always was, wanting to invest, but other than that, like, yeah, they were similar with money. Like they saved it, but they never really made it grow in a sense. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, see, that's the thing, is that like you need to make it grow, like especially like
because your money gets smaller through the years.
It depreciates. Yeah, like if you're keeping cash around, I mean, it's good to have some cash around, I think. But if you're keeping large sums of cash, like money depreciates every single year. Like it goes down in value. So you're actually losing money if you're just keeping cash around. So like if your money isn't growing, if it's staying the same, then you're losing money. So it's just, I can't stress it enough. Like
that's probably why investing in a home is probably, in my eyes, I think is like one of the better moves.
Yeah, for
sure. Because like it does grow, you can rent it out. It's like it's a
you
thing
can
that
make money for you.
It's a thing that will make money, and if you own multiple properties, you probably don't necessarily have to work. You can just rent it out.
Yeah.
Rent out spots, and you can legit retire. So
Yeah, I mean, you're like still managing the property, so it is work, but it's
yeah, there's
like,
still expenses that come with owning, because then like yeah, when things break down and stuff,
yeah, you're
that's your
still responsible.
responsibility.
Yeah.
But essentially, like it is usually, if you do your research, it is a good investment.
That's like the kind of life we're trying to live. So like, yeah, I mean, I guess like our long-term goals, like, obviously we're both working from home now and we're trying to build up all of our businesses. Like, oh, also, since we're on the topic of money, diversify your income. That is huge. I mean, this pandemic just kind of goes to show that when you do have all your eggs in one basket, which most people do, you know, like that's not, you know, like you might have a salary job that pays really well. So like, why would you look for other work? You know, like it doesn't really make sense if that's not for you. And so, but like when a situation like this arises where the market crashes and say you lose your job because of some freak pandemic, then you're kind of shit out of luck. And so if you had diversified your income where, you know, you're working like your 9 to 5, but you also maybe run a blog, also sell products like e-commerce on the side, like anything that you can do to make money in a lot of different places is gonna, one, I mean, obviously help you make more money, but also kind of protect you if something does happen to like one sector of the world. Yeah, I mean, this pandemic is hard because it affected a lot of sectors. Unless you were already like had stocks in Shopify or DoorDash or something like that.
Or Zoom.
Yeah, or like what is it? The acrylic
Plexiglass.
Yeah, plexiglass, yeah. But yeah, so like diversify your income for sure, but yeah, I guess like kind of what our goals are is to I for me like I'm pretty sure it's the same for you, but I would say that it's to be a full-time parent as soon as possible. Like, obviously, Blue is less than 1, and I don't really know. Like, that's the thing with setting goals is sometimes I'm afraid to do it because I feel like if I set a goal that's too small, then I'm limiting myself. So I'd rather just, like, let the world be my oyster and, like, take opportunities as they come. But
set
ideally,
a direction, at least.
Yeah, that's the thing is that now I'm better about being like, I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I can't say, you know, I want to work with this company. I want to reach this number, whatever. But it's more about what I want in terms of my freedoms. And so for the both of us, I think we both want to be full-time parents as soon as possible. For me, I would think that would be, I don't know, by the time I'm like mid-30s or 40s. And I also know myself, and I know that I'm probably not the type of person that will ever fully check out or not be able to work. So, like, I think that us owning real estate properties would be, like, a really great way to, like, be creative. You know, like, we obviously really love, like, interior decorating, and, like, we have so many visions of what we want, like, a beautiful apartment to look like.
I'm so excited to decorate this new
Yeah,
spot.
like, we want to buy, like, when we do buy places, like, we want to buy fixer-uppers so we can kind of, like, rip it out, gut it, and, like, create our own aesthetic.
Retile and, like, just completely customize it.
So, like, that's the kind of work that I want to do. Like, I feel like that would be so much fun for us. And, yeah, I mean, like, the long-term goals are just to own a lot of properties and travel whenever we want. And, yeah, it's pretty funny because when I first met with our financial advisor, I was explaining what kind of life I wanted to live post-retirement. And he was like, okay, so we did, like, all this, like, questionnaires, and like he calculated and he was like, you're gonna need to have like about 3 million in savings. And I was like, holy shit. but that's the thing is that number is so scary, and also you're never gonna get there by just saving money in your savings account. You need to invest. This like should just be a whole sponsorship about investing, but like you need to invest to get there, because like the way that you get to that number is by compounding interest.
And invest in other things.
Yeah, but it's like by compounding interest, you know, like you could save that much money if you're making like way more than that, but like I said, like the government will take a lot from you in terms of taxes depending on where you live, and if you're like incorporated and stuff. But yeah, so like way that you get there,
there's even that Vox video where it explains like how billionaires don't really know the money that's in their account because it's constantly changing and it's constantly growing. So like, yeah, it's really interesting because like billionaires just make so much money.
Well, like, okay, that's the thing is
their money makes money.
Yeah, it's literally, it takes money to make money. Because like if you think about, so kind of like a really good return interest rate, which actually I think last year it was about 10%. Like I think like the money I had invested grew about 10%, which is like really, really good. And so if you think about, you know, like $1,000, then you made $100, which is fantastic. That's amazing. Now think about if you had $1 million in your savings account. You know, like, so when you actually have
That
a lot of
percentage
money,
goes up by
that percentage, yeah,
yeah, that
the
dollar
percentage
amount
doesn't
goes,
go up, but yeah,
the
the dollar
amount
amount,
goes up by so much.
yeah. So it's, yeah, that's how
What is that?
interest works.
100,000?
You know, honestly, I was gonna say, and
I
then I
think it's
was
a hundred
like,
thousand,
yeah, I
right?
think it's
If
a
it's
hundred
one
thousand.
million,
Yeah,
10%.
I was gonna say, but then I was like, I'm gonna sound really dumb because my math is not on point right now. But I think that's 100,000, which is crazy to just like by leaving your money in there, by leaving your $1 million in your account,
For like a
you made
year.
an extra $100,000, which is a lot of money.
It's a lot for sure.
Yeah, that's
the
like a
thing
down
too-
payment on a house.
That's the other thing too. When you're looking at like, I mean, because a lot of the prices here for homes are like $1 million, right?
Yeah.
And then it was just funny because I think the other day we saw one that was like 1.3, but like in our head we're like, wow, 1 million, that's insane. But it's like, but then you don't think about the 300,000.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
you just
still so
round,
much money.
yeah.
Yeah, because you're rounding,
That's
right?
like that's a whole studio apartment.
Yeah. Which is insane because like if someone says this apartment is 10 million or this apartment is 12 million, you'd be like, that's not too much of a difference, but that's a $2 million
Yeah.
difference. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's just interesting when like numbers are so big, like how the smaller ones don't matter, even though in a larger scheme they do. Like that's a huge sum
Yeah.
of money.
I think another thing too, like in terms of, oh right, we didn't talk about this at all, but like, so manifesting, like
Yes.
right now is like the time to manifest. Like Lionsgate portal was on the 8th. If you guys don't believe in all of this, I mean, you're missing out. But like every single year, like since we became aware of Lionsgate portal, it's basically like a huge energy shift in like I guess the universe.
What do they
but
say? It's like something about like the sun's rays and just like
it's
the way
the sun.
it hits.
It's the sun and like the star Sirius. Like they're all aligned, and it's basically kind of projecting like this huge energy shift
Yeah.
on Earth. And basically now is the time to manifest. And the best day would have been on August 8th. So think about what you were doing that day. If you had some great positive thoughts and manifesting things, like very likely that those things will come into fruition, and I really hope that they do. But even if you didn't manifest on that day, we're actually still in the period right now. So it's actually from July 28th to August 12th, I believe. And so that whole period, this is the best time to manifest. So if you're hearing this right now, think about what it is that you want in your life. Like, and don't dream too small. Like that's the thing is that like that I've learned is like whenever you put limitations on yourself, and to be fair, you know, you don't know what it is that you're capable of, you know, and I think that's kind of the beauty of it when you come into your own. But try not to limit yourself. Like really let yourself ask for whatever it is that you want.
Let yourself dream and let yourself just...
Like it's not stupid.
Yeah.
You don't even have to speak it. Just like really visualize it in your head. You don't have to share it with anybody. Just really truly believe it, and like every single day visualize it and try to get a step closer to that. But yeah, so basically like we realized that every single year around this time, like something crazy happens for us in our life. And 3 years ago, August 6th is our anniversary. 3 years ago, during this time period, we manifested each other and like our first date and like falling in love.
Yeah, because I remember when I was about to go on a date with you, I just manifested. It was actually before going on a date with you. I just manifested, like, I just want someone like her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because we had met before and
Yeah.
he like saw my YouTube videos.
But I never would have thought that I would be with you. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I basically manifested this relationship to happen.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy. And then
The
last
year
year,
after that.
yeah. Well, actually, the year after that, we did the cereal pop-up.
The cereal
To celebrate
pop-up.
our 1-year anniversary, we treated ourselves to living out Dayan's dream and doing the cereal pop-up. And then last year, we conceived our baby.
And that's the thing, because we were looking at too many cute babies and just like going like, oh, we should make
We really
one.
were. Like,
want
I had
one."
like pretty intense baby fever, and then it happened, and I was like, oh.
Oh, okay, wait,
Yeah.
what do we actually do now?
Yeah. And then this year, literally on August 8th, we signed a lease to our new home.
To a bigger space and to start a few more businesses. And
Yeah.
this space is perfect for what we're trying to do and what we want to do. So, yeah.
And it's
Like,
like,
what are
yeah,
we gonna
it's like
do
it's
next
like we
year
really
now?
don't need like a bigger place than this. Like I really hope that we stop moving, because we've like, I mean, me specifically, I've been moving around like since I guess I was like 18, because I moved here for college, and every single year I moved at least once, but most years I moved twice. And then the year that we met, I actually lived in 4 different places in that year, which was insane. And then we've only been here for 1 year And so I'm hoping that this next place like Blue can grow. I combined grow and Blue, but Blue can grow up there.
Yeah.
You know, for at least like a good portion of his life before, who knows, maybe we can buy our own place.
Yeah, this is a great neighborhood, and it's basically, you know, it's the size that we need. We can do everything that we need, and we're still here. Like, we're still, you know, going for walks in the neighborhood and still where we're comfortable. And
that's the thing, is that you never know what the future will be like. Like, what if Blue wants to, like, what if he's like an incredible dancer and like the studio is all the way in like Burnaby or something, you know, and we never want to move there, but that's his, you know, like, you got to do what you have to do for your kids. I mean, we could drive, but we also...
Or what if he wants to be an actor and go to Hollywood? Would you move to LA?
I mean, but that's the thing, is that, I mean, you do have to...
And that's a possibility as well, because, like, you're a dual citizen, and the embassies are currently closed, but Blue is on the process of being a dual citizen as well. So, and then once we get married,
and then we'll just leave you here. Oh, oops.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like, I think that's another thing too, is that the reason why I want to become a full-time parent as soon as possible is because I want to be able to give Blue every opportunity that he can have to succeed. You know, and it gets to a point where it's not about us anymore, and. I mean, obviously, I want to be successful for me so that I can live a very comfortable life, but I want to be successful so that, like, he can have all the opportunities that I didn't. And my parents did a damn good job of, like, giving me as many opportunities as possible, and I actually had so many opportunities to do things, but I want to give him everything. And, like, not to the point where he's spoiled. We've definitely talked about that, because we grew up in such small... like apartments, I guess. Like, I grew up in a studio, like me and my parents and my brother, like literally a studio, and my dad built a bunk bed in the closet.
Yeah, we grew up in a one bedroom. We had to sleep in a pull out mattress in the living room with my grandma. Me and my brother and my grandma in the living room. So
it's like we know that it's very much possible, and I think that's another reason why I had reservations about moving out, because I was like, is it too much? Like, does he... Yeah. Like, do we need to? Because, like, the thing is,
how do we teach him struggle?
Yeah, but it's also, like, I know that it's possible to make it work in a small space. Yeah. But the difference is that my parents weren't trying to also work in that space, and, like, they also were living in... We were living in that situation because we had to. You know, obviously my parents wanted to give us everything that they could have. And eventually we did move into a bigger house, and that was, like, great because we had our own space to do things. But that's the thing, is that it's like, even though I know that it's possible to, it's like you always want better for your kids than you had for yourself, you know? But it's also at the same time, like, how do we teach him to really appreciate what it is that he has?
Yeah. The other thing, though, I mean, it is a 4-bedroom, but, like, we do plan to expand our family as well. So, you know, he would still be potentially sharing a room with his sibling, because, you know, those other 2 bedrooms are reserved for business. You know what I mean? They are a business expense, so they are, you know, business rooms. It's the office and the podcast room and the studio and all those things. So inventory. It's
a lot, like, man. Yeah, I feel like eventually we're gonna have to, like, get an actual office, but yeah.
So I mean, he'll still learn to, like, share and, like, not have, you know, a complete room to himself. You know, he's still got to share, and we can still find ways to...
Man, I really didn't like sharing when I was younger.
Well, I can tell.
She
won't even share the closet with me.
I know, we have a walk-in closet in our new place, and I'm like, I'm gonna be real honest, I think that my clothes is gonna take up this whole closet.
Bro, I mean, I was like, we can definitely share, and we should, at that point, probably get rid of some clothes if we can't share, but it makes sense. I can go in a different room as well and just, you know, fuck off into the corner. But it just sucks. I would love to, like, get ready together, you know what I mean?
But that's the thing. We can see what it looks like. I'll definitely get rid of stuff. But that's the thing. I've been literally getting rid of stuff. Like, you guys should have seen
when we
first moved. Yeah, when we moved in here, I got rid of bags. So many trash bags that
really
I, like...
was a lot,
I would just invite all our friends over and then just be like, everyone, please, take. And it was just so much stuff. And, like, I still do have a lot now, but... I mean, there are some things that I do kind of regret giving away because I'm like, oh, I'm over it. But then I'm like, oh, shit, it actually would be nice, like...
There's things, too, that I didn't realize.
So it's like the hoarder in me.
Yeah, there's things I didn't realize you gave away. And I was like, oh, you gave that shirt away? Or, like, you gave that away? That was actually so cute on you.
I know, but, I mean, yeah, I'm definitely gonna, like, have to get rid of some stuff. But, I mean, it's also, like, my work. So...
I mean, it makes sense.
Finding a balance.
But, I mean, that closet can definitely fit the both of us. I think, at the way we are now.
That's
so.
like somebody commented on our first home tour and they're like, bro, this apartment is 90% Nina, 5% Dayon, and then 5% X. And I was like, oh, oops, did I take up that much space? But I think it's also just because now that we work together, it's different, but it's just because I was working from home as well that I just took up more space because I'm like, I just need more space for work and life.
But now, like, all that space, like, a lot of our space
I
now
think
is
people also
collective,
misconstrue the notion that a lot of things are mine, but like even I remember when we had the pink dresser in the bedroom.
Yeah, and
like,
then people thought, but
people were like, oh, like where's like how does Dayon feel about that, or like where's Dayon's clothes and like all this stuff, and I'm like,
but
he likes so the pink dresser. Like, what do you?
It was a sick.
Yeah,
dresser.
so I think like people also just assume that because it seems more feminine that it's me forcing that upon you, but every single thing in our home is like a discussion and we agree on it, or we're making a compromise. Like maybe either Dan likes it more, I like it more, but nothing is like put in our home that one of us absolutely hates.
But if I have to get rid of my toys, that would be, then you would know that I've lost it all.
Yeah, when you see a home tour with no toys in it, that's when you know that Dan's just not
no toys and no glassware, then I have lost my will to survive.
Okay,
then it's 90% Nina's home, and
but I think this is a good place to end. I hope that this was insightful. I know that I kept drilling in you guys that you need to invest, but like, I mean, if that's the thing is, if financial freedom is important to you, which I think it is to a lot of people, like, I just wish that I knew these things earlier. I wish that I knew the importance of investing, and this might all be going over your head right now.
I'm gonna say I wish that I listened earlier, because I've definitely heard things like this, and I've ignored it, because I'm like, I don't have the money right now, or
you just
like,
think that
I'm
you're
too
like,
young, and like, whatever, so... You're like, I'll get more responsible.
Yeah, or like when I make hella money, then I'll save it. But like, nah, it's
best to just do it regardless of how small it is.
It's time that you can't get back. It's time that interest needs to compound. So, yes, definitely invest and make sure that you manifest. And that's not just thinking about what it is that you want. Have your thoughts turn into words, into actions. Keep visualizing it. Ask
Put it
the
out
universe.
there. Collaborate. Network. Talk to people. As long as it's in your head, then you're constantly working towards that.
Yeah, it's like it impacts all of your decisions, all your choices. So yeah, I hope
don't be afraid to ask for what you want. That's ultimately what it is.
Yeah, I hope that you guys have a beautiful week, and we will see you guys soon.
Wait! You forgot to give them the handles.
Oh.
Make sure you follow us at Neens Deens. I am Dayon's Day Off.
And I'm your girl Neens, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.